morning. Kini karon mag-English na lang ta kay uban na akong mga amigo Amerikano man. So, what we're going to do now is make fermented vegetables like similar to sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is mainly cabbage, but in the Philippines we have a variety of vegetables. So, here we have sayote, and here we have squash, and this one is cabbage. So the first thing to do here is to put mixtures of this in a plastic bag, and as always we have to disinfect our hands with 70% alcohol in order to lessen contamination. And this is your plastic bag. It's a polypropylene bag. Polypropylene bag is the best bag to use because it has less of the additives that are harmful to humans. So we grab a piece of this, a handful of this, and then some of the cabbage. You can also ferment just sayote, just squash, or just cabbage, or any other vegetable, and that would be okay. And the size also of the plastic is dependent of the volume that you're going to use. So now, you have to make sure that the volume is just 1/2 of the plastic bag, because we're going to put in another plastic bag that is filled up with water to make this condition anaerobic, because the anaerobic condition is most important to avoid contamination. So let's put this here for the moment, and now you have your lactic acid bacteria and you have your koji. Again, the koji is Aspergillus oryzae, and it's used to convert the starch in the vegetable to sugar, and then you add the lab, and the lactic acid bacteria will promote the production of lactic acid, and lactic acid is the one that preserves the fermented vegetables. So we open this now. This is the koji. It is a starter culture. So this koji contains only Aspergillus oryzae and no other organism, because the medium is made up of rice, corn, bran, and molasses, and brown sugar. And after it has been sterilized, that's the time that you introduce the Aspergillus oryzae pure culture. So technically this is pure by itself. There's no other microorganism that is in here except for Aspergillus oryzae. So now we add some water to dislodge the Aspergillus oryzae. There, that's enough. And then after adding the water, we shake this to dislodge the Aspergillus oryzae that is in the grain. And then you open this and then pour. That's enough to induce fermentation. Then you add the lactic acid bacteria. Again, this came from pure culture, and we use the term starter culture in order to induce fermentation. So this particular mixture of vegetables only will be inoculated with Aspergillus oryzae and lactic acid bacteria. Again, we add some water little bit of water to dislodge the lactic acid bacteria. And so you shake it in order to mix it, and then you pour a small drop or maybe a teaspoon, then close this again, and so this is already inoculated with the Koji organism, Aspergillus oryzae, and the lactic acid bacteria. Now, the next step is to make sure that there is an anaerobic condition, and to promote that, we add water, or we add water to this plastic container, right? So we add water there. So you add the water, and then you put this on top of the vegetables that you're going to ferment. Okay, so you add some more because you want the water to be heavy enough to exert pressure, because when fermentation is gonna take place, this will go down. And so if the water in the plastic is not sufficient, it will not go down to promote an aerobic condition. So we add more water there. That should be sufficient. Then you put a rubber band on top to lessen the chance that the water will spill. You would note that there is no water that is added to the vegetables, right? It's dry, right? You don't need to add water, because what will happen is that the Aspergillus oryzae and the Lactobacillus will degrade the cell wall of the vegetables, and after this has been degraded, the nutrients inside the cells will come out, because the cell wall has already been ruptured, and then you will realize that the liquid from the vegetables will accumulate here, and the accumulated water or material from the cell wall, that is a very good probiotic drink. And so after you have made sure that the water is pressing down, you leave this for a couple of days. I will show you So this is what I'm gonna show you. This was fermented 2 days ago. As you can see now, there is already liquid accumulation here. You see that? Liquid. This came from the vegetable cell wall here. And so that ends the process of fermenting vegetables like sauerkraut. Again, you can use any kind of vegetables, and make sure that the condition is anaerobic by putting a plastic bag filled with water on top of the vegetables that you are going to ferment.